Welcome in to Tribe Talk, this week's edition of Tribe Talk, including the head football coach of the Clarke Indians, Duane Matthess. And joining us, Coach, you guys took on Central Lee at home. It was your guys' pink out as well as senior night dedication and recognition on Friday night. Tough ball game, 28-0. But you guys hung in there with one of the top teams in the district.
Yeah, Central Lee is certainly going to be probably in that three-man race, for our district. I think the weather conditions allowed us to, not allowed us, but it limited them, I believe. But that's football. You have to overcome those things. Defensively, I was very proud of our team. I mean, they battled the whole game. They put us in the position to win. Obviously the weather conditions, I think, limited us some. Across the board, their offense and defensive lines were just much more physical and bigger than us, and that allowed them to get the victory.
And looking at the stat line from that game, looked like you guys forced a couple of fumbles in the contest as well, having a couple of you guys pick up some turnovers there. Defense, like you said, playing key, and I believe it was 14-0 there at the half. So good start to the ball game for you guys on the defensive side.
Yeah, we at the end of we essentially gave up a touchdown for each quarter. I mean, it was 6, 8, 8, and 6, for the 4 quarters of the game. And, that's for compared to where we've been at earlier in the season, that's a vast improvement. Offensively, we need to help them out. We need to help out our defense by putting some points on the board.
Talk about your guys' offensive play on Friday night. Again, struggled to get the ball up and down the field, but it's a work in progress because like you've mentioned in the past, we're working in different guys at quarterback because we can't. I mean, you're not able to keep them in and healthy at the length that you'd like to. How key was it to have Cole come back for this game, to have him be that guy for you guys on Friday night?
Well, obviously, Cole is, he's probably one of the smartest guys on our team. So, he's just a natural leader out there in the sense he knows what everyone else is supposed to be doing, not just himself. So, if he can help those guys that have been filling in for other injured guys. So, that was definitely a good thing. And I think he brings a calming presence to our offense just because he does know what he's doing. And he knows what other people are doing out there. So, it was just it wasn't a great game to throw the ball in. And, we got Cole back late in the week. So he hadn't had a whole lot of time throwing the ball. And again, the weather conditions weren't really conducive for tossing it 15, 20 times a game. But it's going forward. We're full steam ahead for this week against EBF.
And talk about the weather conditions. Threw a curveball into really everybody's plans. Central Lee had to be here almost essentially an hour earlier. You guys moved it up a half hour, so all that kind of commotion made it different. Talk a little bit about that, moving it from a 7:30 to a 7 o'clock game. Not near as big of a difference from moving it from, let's say, 7:30 to 6:30 as some teams did, or even to 5 o'clock in some cases. How did that kind of change things?
Well, I don't know if that necessarily changed a whole lot for us. I will say, the atmosphere was a little bit different than, it normally has been when we've played a home game, just because, the marching band chose not to perform because of the rain. And I don't know, the rain or the / weather conditions that, we thought we might get. We not only just the marching band, but then we moved senior night up too, just to make sure that because there could be a chance this could be the last game. We're still trying to work things out with that, but we wanted to make sure we honored those guys as well. So So it just seemed like, obviously the weather conditions sneaking up on us like that, and being as bad as it did kind of threw it up. But that's no excuse. I mean, we still have to come out and play and perform. And I think we did. I don't think the weather conditions, threw anyone for a loop. It just, moved up our schedule just a little bit. And, I think it would be a bigger thing if we were traveling, but since we were at home, it was fine.
Right. And how, as the field itself, how do you think it held up through the 4 quarters? It looked pretty good. By the end of the game, still looked in pretty decent tact. Obviously, you got the wear spots through the middle, but not near as bad as some fields that I have seen from Friday.
Yeah, it's pretty beat up, though. Yeah. I mean, it's, we just actually had our ag class the school has a drone for the ag class and took some pictures of it aerially, to get an elevated look of it, and down that middle of the field, it's pretty bad. I mean, and on our sideline, I mean, we were essentially standing in mud almost up to our ankles. So one thing though is if we get that field turf, that's one less concern, and the marching band can practice on it all at once, and certainly we can practice on it. Our middle school could practice on it, and we can have games on it all we want. So it's a situation where hopefully our school district, Mr. Johnson and some school board members and I have had conversations, and we're really at a crossroads here at where we want to go and where we want to be at as a district with our facilities, and it'd be really great to see them move in that direction, since we've had schools around us move in that direction, and you just take a look at it as if I'm someone moving into the area, which I recently did, by the way. Yeah. I just moved here.
Yeah.
So where would I want to send my kids to school?
Right.
I mean, when you look at facilities, and so that's got to be a feather in our cap for our school district to show the commitment that we make to our students by having those type of facilities.
Yep, and being the baseball field just getting done, as well as the softball field getting done, that was key in that, and now football can be put up on that next. Talk to us again about the game real quick. What are some things you guys as a coaching staff talked over the weekend about that you kind of looked on as positives, as well as some things you guys are kind of going to work on here this week?
Well, I mean, obviously our defensive effort was there. Riley Domina continues to be a stalwart there for us, and him and John Bear both had pretty fantastic games, led us in tackles 1 and 2 there. So if we can have that type of defensive effort against EBF, I think you can see another close game, and hopefully some of the things that we're doing this week offensively will help us on Friday to start moving the ball up and down the field.
Segment number 1 of Tribe Talk is brought to you by Joe's Hack and Quack Barbershop. Segment number 2 of Tribe Talk, and talking with the head football coach of the Clarke Indians, Duane Matthess. And Coach, you guys now prepare for the Eddyville-Blakesburg-Fremont Rockets, a tough team in district play, new team to the Clarke football program. Like we were talking off air, they are a conference team. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have seen so far from EBF.
Yeah, they're obviously this is our second year playing them. First, the districts get shuffled around every 2 years, but I think this is the first time that we've played them in our first go around in district play. But we're not unfamiliar with them, as they're an SCC, conference team that we play against in other sports. So EBF is, they're going to spread the ball around, throw it around, and do a lot of different types of motions. They did lose to Albia earlier in the year, 8-6, lost in the last minute. I believe that was just probably maybe 3 weeks ago that they lost to them. And So that was, I would call that kind of an upset. We played Albia that next week after they beat them. So, I think that they're still hungry. They want to finish the game or finish the season with a winning record, and to do so, I think they really got to have this game this week. So I'm sure that they're not taking this game lightly. As right now, I think they're 3-4 on the season. So this will even out their record with a chance to finish with that 5-4 record.
And for you guys to notch your first victory of the 2017 season and your first victory at the helm here at Clarke would be huge in this sense that you guys go on the road, take on Eddyville, and do it late in the season with all these key injuries coming a point and not having certain key guys that you thought you would have at this point in the season coming in. Tell us, what would that victory entail? What would you guys have to do offensively, defensively, special teams to get that victory?
Well, obviously we got to help our defense out. If our defense played like last week, we have a great opportunity to win the ball game. But our offense has to, move the ball and put up points on the scoreboard. It'd be nice to, play a game where all three facets, really make a contribution, whether it be, turnovers on the defensive side of the ball or big stops, great returns, I guess you could say, special team defense in the sense of don't allow big plays on kickoff return or, punt returns when they are on kickoff or when they're returning and punts or kickoffs. But, and just put ourselves in good positions by getting good returns when we're, returning the ball, whether it be a punt or a kickoff. So, if we could do that and then our offense start moving the ball, it'll be interesting to see how we react as a team, if we ever are in a position to have a lead in a game and then, and put pressure on another team, especially a team, I'm sure EBF is in a position where they think that, they have a very good chance to win the ball game. And if I was them, I would probably feel that way too when we're playing us, just because we're not quite there yet. But it would be nice to see, how their kids react when they have a little bit of their backs against the wall. So it's going to be a great game. I think the weather's going to be great for us on Friday night, and it's just I tell you what, it's always a great night for me when we lead that team out onto the field to play and represent our school and community.
And you talked about it a little bit about the weather, how it'll actually be decent. We started off this week here with some pretty ugly weather. Yesterday was a little on the windy and chillier side, and today it just dropped to downright cold and rain coming down outside as well. Talk about your guys' practice the first couple of weeks or first couple of days here preparing for Eddyville.
Yeah, we obviously Monday was. We don't do a whole lot on Monday besides, film and some install stuff that we're going to do that, and our focus is on that week. But, today was, it's a little chilly. Not too bad. Coaches were in shorts. Some coaches were in shorts, not all of us. But, I think that, football is, it's a brutal sport, and not in the sense of the physicality, but the conditions that you play in too. And that's something that I talk to our guys about, being mentally tough and trying to not let things affect you and kind of push through things, because it's never you never know. And all of us coaches have stories where last game of the year. When you get into week 7, week 8, week 9, it's kind of like a crapshoot in the sense of what type of weather we're gonna have. And last game of the year, my junior year, all of a sudden, 2 minutes into or not even 2 minutes into our last game of the season against Belle Plaine, all of a sudden you start hearing this tink, 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 and it started hailing in our game. And then it was snowing the rest of the game, and like a sleeting snow, like rainy, and so it's just like you just never know what you're gonna get, when it comes to week 7, 8, 9, and sometimes it's week 1. I remember 2 years ago, we were getting rained out and massive thunderstorms, and you never know, but for the most part, this season's been pretty great weather.
Yeah, I know. I know my last game a couple years ago, we were playing Albia here at home, and it was fog. You couldn't see across the sideline, and they couldn't see you across your sideline, and that's how big the fog. So you remember those kind of games, and
Sure.
And you wanna see that. Talk about the memories you guys have kind of made this year a little bit. Some things that you guys, I know you don't necessarily see the memories on the win-loss column, but you make it within the practice time and just going out and playing on Fridays.
Yeah, I think that there's times that there'll be stories that all the kids take home, from this year. There's not only, with players, but coaches and the interactions that you do, and that's really why we're out here. We're building relationships with each other, the players, the coaches, and you don't ever get into this for the wins or the losses. At least I haven't, and most of the coaches that I know and respect, they'll say the same thing. And that's why I feel like we have such a great team with great people on our team. And I know that the wins and losses don't reflect whether people think that this is a great team, but I know it, and the people that are associated with this program know it. And it's again, I just can't say enough that I'm honored to be a part of it. Look forward to the continued challenges that it brings, and working together, because that's what it takes, working together to accomplish what we're trying to do. And it's buckle up, it's going to be a fun ride.
And we've talked in the past about some of the different things that have gone on, the adversity your team has faced this season with all the different injuries of key guys going down, different ideas, different things, new schemes, adversity that you guys have faced. How well do you think your team has responded to that adversity and moved on from it and actually embraced it?
Well, I think they've embraced it. I can honestly say that, maybe not everybody's embraced it. I'd say the majority has. We're still working to get full buy-in. And when I say full buy-in, I'm talking parents, players. I don't know if everyone's, totally bought into, the importance of strength and conditioning and the program that I've gotten from coaches that, we're talking Hall of Fame coaches, and Reese Morgan's at the Iowa City West, and Gary Stamp, who's spent many years at Lisbon, that I've had, and great programs that I've been a part of that do this type of weightlifting program, strength and conditioning program. And I can only go off of what I know, and what I know has worked. Doesn't mean I'm still not a student of the game and trying to learn more and different things that can make us better. But I know what we're trying to do in that strength and conditioning program builds student athletes, not just football players, and we'll have success. But again, as a coach, I can't make them push themselves in here. So when they're in here, they have to get after it. And what we've talked about with our kids, when you step into this weight room, you have to attack it with intensity. Because if you're in here going through the motions, just trying to push around some weight, it's not doing you any good, because you're not pushing yourself. Just like when you're on that practice field or game field, you're not getting anything out of it if you're just going through the motions.
Absolutely. Coach, final thoughts before we head into game week with Eddyville-Blakesburg-Fremont on the road this week. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I can't tell you enough how honored I am to step on the field with these guys that have literally put their blood, sweat, and tears into our program. They for these younger guys that are a part of our program, they will certainly get better from this season. They'll continue to grow and get more stronger and bigger. So for those seniors that have been a part of our program, I just that they, they're not going to be here for the success that it's going to eventually come here, but they're a bigger part of it as anyone else is. So it's exciting. I haven't been to Eddyville before, so it's another road trip that we're excited to take, and I hope that all our fans that support us have been supporting us all year long, continue to make the trek with us, and hopefully after everything is said and done, the clock strikes zero at EBF, we'll be singing our school fight song.
That is the head football coach, Duane Matthess, here on Tribe Talk. For Coach Duane Matthess, I'm Damon Helgevold. That's Tribe Talk.